NHL best bets for Tuesday, April 7th. Welcome to PuckTime WagerTalk TV. We've got some great games for you guys on $5 Tuesday. Of course, we'll give you guys some free picks and opinions. 4 of us here to break down games today. Myself, Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco, Brian Leonard, and Don Buster. But do not forget, $5 Tuesday, the best day of the week for you guys to try us out, to grab a play and see what it's all about at wagertalk.com, as every single play minus the 5% are available for just $5. Carm, I said yesterday on the show, I was a bit guilty of not following the Western race enough, and I've been following the East so much, but that West with Winnipeg, who you just cashed a big 5% ticket on, and Los Angeles and Nashville and San Jose, that Western race is fantastic. So look forward to breaking down today's slate here with the guys. And of course, I will mention, unfortunately, had a tough time sleeping last night because the streak went and it's gone now. The streak is finished at 12 in a row. 12-1 now is the run. San Jose Sharks win the game, but don't get me to that magic number of 4. No regrets on the play because I have had winners where the team lost, but they still got to 4. When you don't get a goal in the first period, it's hard to hit the team total, and that's what happened to me yesterday. Back in action today, though, I do have a best bet going today. 4% play for $5 Tuesday. Carm, good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Winnipeg Jets win. Unfortunately, Nashville loses in a shootout. Andrew, 7 games now in their last 10 games for the LA Kings where they have gone to overtime. If you guys in the chat or watching later on, I've been betting the draws on the 3-way line for the LA Kings the last 10 games. You're making money because they're always about $3, and they just keep going to OT and then getting either a loser point or a winner point. They win it in a shootout. So the Nashville pod, unfortunately, doesn't get there. But I'm happy because a lot of people took advantage of that deal that we have up, the $199 deal, and a lot of people also picked up the 5% play yesterday on the Winnipeg Jets in regulation, and they get it done. The Kraken, I think, Andrew, their season has cracked, and they should probably focus on a bottom 5 spot right now and getting a very good pick in the draft. With that said, we have an awesome show. You and I are going to kick it off. We're going to talk Columbus and Detroit. Detroit, Michigan, Andrew. Michigan is bumping right now. Why? Because they are the NCAA men's champions, knocking off UConn last night. A lot of rumblings. People did not like the officiating in the game. I thought it was fine, but refs always suck if you're on the wrong end of a point spread, a goal, what have you. We're going to talk that game. Buster's coming in. He's going to do Ottawa and Tampa Bay. Can Tampa rebound from taking it on the chin from the Buffalo Sabres? Go Sabres. Brian Leonard's here because he loves to talk about Colorado and St. Louis. Rapid revenge spot. We'll see what happens with the Avalanche. And then you and I are going to finish it off with Nashville and Anaheim. The same game parlay, a pod play. And then we're going to send people on their way. How does that sound, Andrew?
That sounds good to me, Carmen. I'll tell you what, there's just been a report that a UConn basketball player has just sneezed and he has been charged with assault on a Michigan player. That's how aggressive that sneeze was. Unbelievable. The ticky-tack fouls we saw last night, the last few minutes. You know how the best way you can tell how you feel about the officiating? Just don't have a bet on the game. And I did not have one single bet on that game. I did not cheer for a single team. But man, oh man, did those referees get excited to blow that whistle in the last 2 minutes of that game. That wasn't fun to see. But let's get into it, Carm. Big show ahead. Detroit against Columbus. And this Blue Jackets team, you know, when Rick Bowness got hired, he was coddling and cheering them on and just positive vibes only. And he's turned into a whole different person here. He has now talked about, hey, this team is not playing like a playoff team. These guys are not giving it the full effort. But then you've also got Detroit getting called out by their coach saying it's not something where you should have to motivate your team. You shouldn't have to get your team to give us a full effort. So you pretty much have two teams going head to head. where their coaches are not happy with them. What does that lead to, Carm? Two teams where their coaches aren't happy. Blue Jackets lose to the Jets, Hurricanes twice, Bruins, Sharks, Canadians. Things are not good for them. Taking a look from the analytics perspective here, we have Columbus holding a little bit of an edge here over the last 10 games, but they are declining. The biggest thing for Detroit is their penalty kill. Very, very weak, and that's actually what killed them the most in that game against Minnesota over the weekend. I'll tell you what, I kind of do lean towards the Detroit side in this one. Something tells me that Detroit is going to just tease their fans, and all of a sudden when they're probably out of the playoffs, are going to play well again. I love when the schedule works out the way it does. You get these two teams playing each other. This win couldn't mean more to each other than this one does. Lean towards Detroit. Columbus has talent. They've really fizzled out. I do have a feeling that Detroit can make this one into a battle. But Carm, I'm going to go back to what I've been going back to a lot yesterday. It got sweaty yesterday with the under in the Buffalo and Tampa game, but the under 6.5 did hit. And I do lean towards under in this one as well. Under 5.5, under 6 with the juice, whatever it might be. Detroit for me, but I do lean towards the under as well. When people aren't happy about how their teams are playing, typically they look towards defense. And you look at that game on Saturday, that loss that Columbus took. I gave out the under on my show I did with Buster, and we'll talk to Buster shortly here. When you look at it, 2-1. So even in a defensive game, they still lost, but I'm thinking defense again.
Yeah, no, I can see it, Andrew, and I'm kind of leaning the same way as far as the under. You know, when I created the graphics, I looked at the VIG in this game, and I'm like, 136 on the under. Why haven't they just moved it to 5.5? You know, I think checking the board, have any 5.5s popped up on the screen as of yet? No, I'm still seeing some 6s. The under is now minus 111. Consensus line over at WagerTalk. But Andrew, you know, you look at it, obviously both teams had some very good stretches, but they just seem to be wearing down. It is one of those ones where they're running out of steam. The Boston Bruins have done what the Boston Bruins do. They hang in there, they get wins, and they're on 95 points right now. You have, essentially, it is Ottawa that both Detroit and Columbus have to hope that Ottawa spits the bit, to use a horse racing term, and loses a bunch of games. Ottawa's on what? 77 points. 77 games, 90 points. Detroit, 77 games, 88 points. Columbus, 77 games, 88 points. The problem is regulation wins. Ottawa has 34. Detroit and Columbus have 29 and 27 respectively. You're going to have to finish a point ahead. So they are essentially 3 points back of Ottawa instead of 2 in order for that tiebreaker to come into place. So it's one of those ones where one of these teams needs to win. Whether they do it in regulation or not doesn't matter at this point. With only 5 games left, the regulation wins aren't going to help them. Only the points will. So it's just one of those games where it's do or die for Detroit. Lose this, they're done. Columbus, lose this, they're done. If this becomes a 3-point game where it goes to OT and one of them wins, yeah, they have a chance. But then they're also going to be scoreboard watching at the same time too. Ottawa playing Tampa Bay tonight, and whether Tampa Bay rebounds from that game. So it is a tough one for the fan base here. You know, Johnny Detroit, one of the owners at WagerTalk, did talk about the fact that, you know, he gave up his season tickets to the Red Wings this season, and they just seem to do this in March. And you mentioned, I think the last 3 Marches, the Detroit Red Wings have sort of fallen apart. And then by the time April rolls around, which we're in now, they're out of the playoff hunt. The team's played well for so long. They're going to need Gibson to have a game tonight, the same way Columbus is going to need Jet Greaves to have a game tonight. So that's why I agree with you on the under. The best way to fix a losing streak is with a strong defensive effort. So give me the under as well.
Yeah, and like I said, though, the funny thing is they probably played their best defensive game we've seen in a while, and they still lost 2-1. in that one. It's not very often that we'll do this on the show, but there's certain instances that we will come out and say this. And I think that this is just all based on the analysis you just gave, Carm. People could be aware, and this could be time. Make sure you guys are following me at McInnis Picks on X. This could be a time for a live bet for the over in the third period, because if one team is trailing, there's nothing to lose, Carm. We might not just see one empty net goal. We could see 2 empty net goals. It could hurt the under, and that's one thing that scares me. With maybe we look at first period under or a team total under, because that factor of there's nothing to lose. Like, if these teams are down 3-1, I would not be shocked to see 4-1, 5-1, because if you don't come back, you're dead. You know, it's not like you're playing for pride. Oh, well, at least we didn't lose by 4. At the end of the day, you have to win this game. So it's kind of like when a team needs to win in regulation. You know, they're tied. You've talked about it before. You're tied, then you pull the goalie because you have to win in reg. Well, there's some bets you can make at different sports books where which period will be the highest scoring period. Would not shock me if the third period was the highest scoring period, strictly because of that aspect. So it might sound funny, but I've made money before betting on empty net goals.
Yeah, Andrew, I have a group of people who have a Discord channel, and they post when games, like they know when coaches normally will pull their games. They talk about it in that channel. It's a private channel, and they alert each other to the empty nets and which books still have the prices up, so you can get sort of the best price. That's why having multiple outs is important. But you know, I wanted to see one of these two teams make the playoffs, or even both of them make the playoffs, and that's not going to happen now, Andrew. And I think it's basically because I like the fan bases for both, because they are true hockey fans. There's a lot of cities that the tickets are owned by corporations, and if they don't go, the seats are either empty or they get sold off or what have you. But Columbus has a great fan base for hockey. Detroit, if you've ever been to a game in Detroit, and I have, the fans love it. They show up in their red jerseys, and they have a great time. One of the guys in our chat, I know, Nebraska knows, who's I think is a season ticket holder, and he's there pretty much every single game. So it is tough. You want to see the teams with strong fan bases get into the playoffs and reward their fans. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen for either of these two the way it's going right now.
And you know what? It is true, because Columbus, great crowd when that building is rocking, and we know what Detroit can be like. I got to give your Buffalo Sabres credit, though. I was just filming a video before we did Puck Time talking about which home ices can be intimidating, and Buffalo, man, that Buffalo crowd, they were popping yesterday. It's great to see for the league, and I can't wait to see what that crowd is like during their playoff run. So going to be really fun to watch. And it's just nice when you have new teams. I know you're going to laugh.
With one more. No, I was just going to say to you, I don't mean to cut you off, but just because the thoughts in my head, and someone asked me about it yesterday, a few people anyways, and my response to them was this, is that I hold no hope on the Sabres winning the Stanley Cup, Andrew. I think for their fan base, they are going to be happy that, number one, they broke a 13 or 14-year run to get into the NHL playoffs. And they go into the playoffs, and whether they are the number 1 seed in the Atlantic, the number 2 or number 3, if they win a series and then get bounced, the fan base is still going to be happy, because it's much more than anyone expected. There's going to be the diehards who are like, we're winning the cup. We're going to kick Tampa's ass, right? And they did take 7 of 8 points from Tampa Bay this year, but winning games against a team in the regular season and winning them in a 5 or 7 game series is a completely different beast. So with that said, for the Saberhood faithful out there, hope the team wins at least a series and does you guys proud. I'll enjoy watching it at the very least. Andrew, do you have any more thoughts, or should I bring in the closet Buffalo Sabres fan?
Let's keep this show rolling. Bring him on.
I know he's a fan. 100%. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
This guy is a fan. Look at him. Look at him.
You know what, Carmine?
Buster, we're going to the Bell Center together. Forget about meeting this guy in Buffalo. We're going to the Bell Center together. Don't forget about me. Next Saturday, you're flying in from Mexico. I need you.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I've already thinking it's going to be probably Buffalo. Looks like it's going to be Buffalo and Montreal. I've already I won't get there for the first few games of Buffalo, but I've already booked my game 5 and maybe game 7 spots if need be in Buffalo. Not sure I'll make it to Montreal first round, but we'll be up there for second round, Andrew. And Carmine, the only thing I'm diehard fan of Buffalo is their chicken wings and the beef on wick. That diehard.
All right, whatever, man. It's all good. Buster, I love the fact that you are previewing this game, and we'll get to like some of the streaks that you're on. Because man, when you release like a 5% play in NHL, it is almost like gold. I want to say, and I'm not trying to put the announcers jinx on you or what have you on your next one, but they do extremely well at WagerTalk #1. Baseball, you kicked off the season on a fantastic run. We're going to talk about that later. But this game here, I love the fact that you chose this game to discuss. Minus 135 in the Ottawa Senators, plus 114 on Tampa Bay. Total sits at 6.5, shaded to the under. My friend, how are you playing this one?
Yeah, Carmine, thanks a lot. Big game for both clubs, as we all know. Tampa Bay is still looking to grab that first. For starters, they're looking to hang on for first in the Atlantic, as your Sabres and my mighty Canadians are right on their tail. But they're also on the tail of the Carolina Panthers for overall. Carolina Hurricanes. I'm thinking football. So they're on their tail as well. So it's going to be an interesting. I think it's about 5 games they all have left around there. In this game here, both teams are going to be playing their third game in 4 nights. But we believe Ottawa has the advantage here in this spot, as they did not play last night. And as you've already talked about, Tampa Bay lost to the mighty Sabres. Tampa Bay has come to Ottawa less than 24 hours, and we always like that to play the home club here, especially when they haven't had the day off. A thing that we really like here, it looks, last night, Vasilevsky played in net. So on a back-to-back, it looks like it hasn't been confirmed, but I'd have to believe it's going to be Jonas Johansson tonight. And I got to believe that gives Ottawa an advantage, especially early in the game. Also looks like there's going to be no Cirelli or no Hagel for Tampa Bay, so that helps a bit. And I'm just going to go back and give you a little bit of Tampa Bay's record. Not on 3 games in 4 nights, but just on a back-to-back. On the season, they've played 14. They're 7-7 on back-to-backs. And just another little note here. In all those games, those 14 games, Vasilevsky did not play 1 back-to-back at all. In fact, Johansson actually played a back-to-back when Vasilevsky was hurt in December. So he actually has played a back-to-back. I don't think Cooper wants to play him back-to-back. I really don't. So I think Ottawa will have that advantage in the nets too. We actually do like Ottawa for the full game, but to me, I think Ottawa first period money line is the play, because Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay, right? I know. I just gave you the back-to-back record. You almost believe that Tampa Bay's, plays way better on a back-to-back than most of the teams, but it's 7-7, and Ottawa are desperate. So we like Ottawa for the first period on the money line to get the jump on Tampa Bay, especially less than 24 hours later. I will very quickly, Carmine, go through the totals. Tampa Bay are 5-1 to the under last 6. Ottawa 5-3 to the under last 8. When the teams get together, 5-3 to the under last 8. The 2 games this year that they've played that were both in Tampa Bay, 1 over, 1 under. I want no part of this total. Give me Ottawa on the first period money line.
Yeah, it is a little bit of rapid revenge too, maybe, Buster. Ottawa went down and they've lost, 3 of their last 4 games, but or 3 of their last 5. But when they play the good teams, they seem to fare well against them, like Carolina, the Buffalo Sabres. But when you put them in sort of almost like a must-win situation, and I think going into this one, Ottawa knows they're catching Tampa on the second of a back-to-back, number one. Number two, get a win. You have Columbus and Detroit who are playing each other, and if one of those 2 teams wins in regulation, you can pretty much dust that team away from having a playoff chance. So they have 1 left, and it's regulation wins as the tiebreaker. So a big game for them. They went down to Florida. They lose 4-2 to Tampa after taking a 2-0 lead in the first period. 2 in the second and 2 in the third by Tampa salts that one away. And that was James Reimer in goal in that game. Then Allmark the next night where they got I was on the wrong end of that one. I took them to bounce back against Florida, and the Panthers dusted them. But
that was a little shocking because Florida doesn't even have it. They have an AHL team now, if you ask me.
Yeah, Allmark's confirmed for tonight, so he's there, and it looks like it'll likely be Johansson. He's the one that's expected. Buster, it's $5 Tuesdays at WagerTalk. Every capper guys has $5 plays out there. It could be multiple sports as well too. They are for single plays only, not packaged plays. So you're getting 1 play for $5. It's not a bad deal at all. And then, of course, the $199 NHL deal is still around. Buster, what do you have up? And if you want to talk about some streaks, by all means, fire away.
Yeah, you know what, Carmine? I'm not going to talk too much about my streaks. You can go over to see the 30 days and 7 days and 3 days. I don't like to brag because we know how that works out. You start talking about stuff like that, next thing you know, you're 2-8 before you know what hits you. So we have been doing very, very well. I just want to keep it up. That's all I can say. Just want to keep having good nights. And there's no reason why we can't do it because we've had losing nights for 2 or 3, 4 or 5 days. So we're looking for that to happen. You mentioned that's a great deal. $199 NHL for the entire season. Excellent deal. Actually, WagerTalk, the powers that be, have all kinds of great deals that they have up on all of our home pages. We also still have, and I think it's a great deal, that buy 3, get 3 days free for only $69. That's the best way to go to buy anything from us, as far as if you haven't played. And that way you can see how we write games up, how we think about games. It gives you 6 days, and that's a great deal. And as you said, it is Customer Appreciation Day today, $5 plays, all cappers with the plays up. And we have a 4% NHL best bet that you can go to our homepage at wagertalk.com and get it for $5.
Love it, Buster. Listen, this sports in general is ebbs and flows.
Yes,
you go through big runs, and it's why bankroll management is so important. Why is Andrew laughing, man? What's he laughing for? I don't know. Oh, we're giving away. I don't know what is going on there. I think Rich in Van City, he's been hanging out with Ryan Reynolds. He's got the jokes today. But with that said, dude, looking forward to you're coming up in a mere couple of weeks. You're coming to the it snowed. It snowed this morning. It snowed this morning, and you're leaving a place like Mexico to come north of the border to a place where I had to scrape ice off of my windshield this morning in order to drop my wife off and grab a coffee.
You know what it is? Their hockey, I heard it's getting better and better for finding places to watch games, Buster, but you need to come back to the homeland for the playoffs. The playoff hockey, it's time to come home.
Yeah, well, that's why we are coming home about a couple months early, but sometimes life in general gets in your way, and it worked out pretty good for me this time because, like I say, Montreal should be playing Buffalo. Hopefully I'll go 5, 6, 7 games, whatever. And I'll be able to go to Buffalo, watch a couple of those games. I'm sure, Carmine, maybe we can get together to do that. That would be a lot of fun. So
yeah,
we'll be in touch, as they say.
All right, my friend. I'll see you later. I'll definitely get in touch with you before you leave, so I can get you to bring up a bottle of tequila for my wife.
Oh, of course, no problem. Like always, not a problem whatsoever. Best of luck, everybody. Have a great day, everyone.
Later, Buster. We're gonna go from tequila to Bailey's because we got to bring in our good man Brian Leonard. He's coming north of the border as well too. Who leaves Vegas to come to Toronto where it is cold? Where is Brian?
Yeah, Brian, we gotta make sure to tell you next time you plan a trip to Canada, make sure you plan that maybe a little bit later, July, August, September.
My wife is freaking out. We're not coming for like 2 more weeks, and she goes, I'm gonna have to. I don't even have winter clothes. I live in Las Vegas. She's freaking out. And in regards to Rich in Van City, I assumed he lived in Vancouver, and he did say it. But as soon as I saw his handle, I thought to myself, he lives in a van down by the river.
Here, Brian. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on a second with the camera. This is what I woke up to this morning. It's not a lot, but still. It's kind of frustrating.
You must live in Antarctica.
It wasn't snow that it was caked on snow, so you had to scrape it off. So that's the worst part of it. But with that said,
Carmine,
you're coming up.
What does Santa Claus look like? Did you say hi to Santa for me at the North Pole?
Yeah,
did you see any reindeer?
You live in Narnia. I don't know where you're coming from, but the funny thing is, yesterday, guys. You guys in chat, you guys can decide. Brian and I argued pretty much the whole day because he's coming up to Toronto and he's going to be here during the first round of the playoffs. I offered to take him to a Leafs playoff game, my treat, but he wants to pay for the tickets. So who do you guys think should be paying for the Leafs first round playoff tickets this year? Myself or Brian? You guys decide in the chat.
I'll pay for the tickets. You buy all the alcohol.
Okay, at the game.
Okay, no,
right.
Rich needs you to start wearing the jersey more, Brian. So that way they can start winning some games.
I haven't heard from Rich in a while.
Yeah,
I still wear that. I love it. Yeah.
Speaking of, because we have TJ in our chat, and he loves and lives in Colorado. He's I think originally a New Jersey boy, but the Avalanche. Losers to the St. Louis Blues on the weekend, 3-2. Venue switch over to St. Louis now. The Blues, I thought, were a live dog on Sunday, and they got the job done. Are the Blues a live dog again? Because, Bri, judging by this price, it's not as good as it was last week on the weekend, plus 176. But, again, plus 131 on a Blues team that's playing extremely well right now. And has Colorado shut it down for the playoffs? It just seems like they're kind of winding. They're doing what Tampa did in those 2 seasons in which they won the Stanley Cup, where they had their seeding locked up and they just not rested players, but kind of coasted into the playoffs.
Well, as we previously pointed out, this Colorado Avalanche team is basically locked into the number 1 seed out west. They've got 110 points with just 6 games remaining. Dallas sits behind them at 102 with only 5 games to go. So if Dallas wins all 5 games, get 2 points, so they'll beat Colorado by 2 if they don't win a game the rest of the year. That's not going to happen. I know Colorado has been an excellent team when they're playing with in-season revenge, but this is where numbers are something you got to take a look at. You got to look at the situation right now. Colorado. They lost the last time they played St. Louis just 2 days ago. I lose that 3-2 at home. But the real motivation here is for the playoffs. It's not to get the revenge. So you'll have guys out there that'll say, yeah, this team is so-and-so in revenge and all this. Well, that's great. in the middle of the season or the beginning of the season. But at the end of the season, Colorado's only concern right now is making it to the playoffs as healthy as they can be. That's the real motivation for this veteran club. And, they're only 7-7 the last 14 times they've played on the ice. So they're taking it easy. They're going to the playoffs. They got it locked up. Everything's good there. But St. Louis is currently in 12th place in the Western Conference. And they're just 5 points out of the 8th playoff seed with 6 games to go. But they do have an additional game to play as opposed to the 8th place LA Kings. Now, I know the Kings have a really easy schedule going out. So it's tough to do, but the players think they can still do it. The players or the Blues play 4 of the next 5 games at home. St. Louis has held 8 of the last 9 opponents they have played to 2 goals or less. How do you want to fade that team playing at home? They're 13-6 since the Olympic break. They're playing much better hockey right now than Colorado is. Yes, Colorado's the better team, but any motivation in this game, regardless of the quick revenge, the rapid revenge, is all for St. Louis here. I can't pass up a team playing as well as St. Louis is, playing at home. They beat Colorado last time out, but it's a confidence game. They'll come back. Losing this game at home ruins that victory they had on the road. I like St. Louis here. Sure, we're not getting a great number, but we're still getting the team playing better hockey with more motivation at a plus money price. Can't go wrong with that.
Brian, we saw it over the weekend with the Panthers and the Penguins, Canadians and the Devils. Does it ever worry you that teams play each other twice such a short period of time? I know it's all circumstantial, and you just gave some tremendous reasons why it's a good idea to back the dog here in this one. But does that ever scare you off? And after you follow up here, what do you have to promote? Because I know you're on one hell of a heater in baseball right now. And, of course, hockey's been pretty good to you over the time as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, if it was earlier in the season, it would make a difference. Now, you know what the goal is for Colorado at this point. They've already proved that out their last 14 games, going 7-7. They got off to that great start to the season. They're, in my mind, they're clearly the best team in the NHL. They and Tampa Bay are the 2 best teams in my regard in the NHL. I expect them to play in the championship. But they got to that big start to the season. And ever since the All-Star break, it's been, okay, let's get to the playoffs. Let's get to the playoffs. And so the revenge thing means nothing to me at this point. I do want to point out, by the way, I'd say to everybody $5. This is my $5 play. I wanted to give it out for free on this show for everybody who is tuning in. So no need to buy my $5 hockey play. But I do have a 5% play in baseball. And especially because I sent the wrong message into our producer and I sent it to Andrew. This is the second time I've done this. Maybe in the back of my mind, I think Andrew actually cares about my baseball plays. But I feel sorry for you, Andrew. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're on a 10-1 run in baseball. And I've got a nice 4% going in Major League Baseball today. In fact, that 10-1 continues as we got 4 plays in baseball today. But you can get our best play, our 4% play, for only $5. A lot of great deals out there for you right now. If you want to get the buy 3, get 3, that kind of stuff. We've got great deals in Major League Baseball. I know Buster doesn't like to brag. I'll brag for him. He's gotten off to a great start in baseball, and he's done very well. As we were pointing out earlier, with his 5% in hockey. So he doesn't want to brag. I'll brag for him. None of us like to brag because, as he pointed out, one day the sun is shining on your face, sun is shining somewhere else.
The next day it's egg.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But I love the card today in baseball. I've given out a lot of lower starred plays because I hadn't been handicapping very well, and now I feel more confident. So we're putting out some bigger plays.
Brian, excellent job, man. Great breakdown on this one. It should be an exciting game. The Blues, the Winnipeg Jets, I think that if either one of those teams can squeak into that 8th spot, I know they're going to have to face Colorado in the first round, but they're dangerous. A hot goalie and a good defensive team can steal a round in the first round of the playoffs, can steal a series in the first round. So it'll be interesting. Any thoughts?
Yeah, we see it all the time in the playoffs. Look at the Boston Bruins a few years ago. They looked like they were unbeatable. Everybody was giving them the championship, and all of a sudden they lost early. We see it all the time. How many times does the team with the most points end up in the championship? It doesn't happen. So yeah, anything can happen once you get to the playoffs, and it's not like basketball where the best teams are always seems to be in the championship. In hockey, which is why I love it, every year you got different teams in there, and there's certain teams, Colorado, Tampa Bay, there seem to be go deep in the playoffs every year, but you don't always have the same champion. And Vegas won a couple years ago. Now we were worried a couple weeks ago they weren't even going to make the playoffs. So yeah, I love hockey. Anything can happen, and just a team with a hot goalie, as you mentioned, and they see each other play every day, which is I really like, as opposed to the schedule during the regular season where you play a team and it's a second of a back-to-back. You may not have the full effort. In hockey, you're given full effort every single game, and that's a good way to make money. The playoffs in hockey and the NBA are so easy to beat, it's ridiculous.
All right, Bri, looking forward to seeing you in about 16 days. You arrive. I'm going to pick you up at the airport just because that's the kind of stuff I like.
You're the kind of guy that does that kind of stuff. You're amazing, my wife, and she doesn't really know you that well. I said, you just touched the simple parts of what he does. He does everything for everybody. Andrew will even admit Andrew's a great guy too, but Carmine is I'm just happy to be friends with you.
Yeah, Andrew's a Montreal fan though, so I don't know,
that's nothing wrong with that. I like Montreal.
Okay.
I like
All right. With that said, Brian, get out of here. We will see you on the next show or whatever that is.
All right. I'll see you right Thursday.
I'll get the schedule up.
I'll come on Friday if you need me. I'll come on Friday.
Yeah, you're definitely doing Thursday's show because I will be on a plane. So watching the show. I will be in the chat for that show. Anyways, guys, get out of here, Bri. Andrew, let's talk about another Western Conference game.
Hey, for what it's worth, Brian Carmine said, all right, you're going to close out Brian and get him out of here. And
I did.
Like, all right, Brian.
I kept them going on. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Like, get out of here.
I said enough of me. All right, guys, take care.
Andrew, let's talk this game here. Nashville, Anaheim. My graphics wrong. That's supposed to be Anaheim minus 142. I completely missed that. Nashville's plus 120. Anaheim is minus 142. Where are we going with this game? Preds, second of a back-to-back. Sorrow started yesterday, so it's likely going to be the backup. That's Onanen, right? Ducks keep on winning, or is the pressure getting to them? How are you playing this one?
Well, the Onanen's been pretty good. His numbers over the last handful of games have been pretty good, but there's sometimes where I look at my numbers and I'm like, these are almost too good to be true. And that's when you probably want to look towards fading a guy because of overachieving metrics a little bit here, and people were jumping over me yesterday in the comments, and I won't say jumping over me, but I was talking about some teams that are, might not make it, but they're giving it their all towards the end. My whole point is there's been some teams like the Predators that they're giving it their all, no matter what, if they make the playoffs or not, they're going to be a team to look at towards the end of the season. And I respect them and how they're playing. But this to me is a first period bet, Carm. I've taken a look at the Ducks to come out on fire here. I don't think they'll be happy with the effort they put forward in their last game. Their offensive metrics are still top 5. In a lot of key categories over the last handful of games. And again, I just think Nashville right now, they've been bailed out by good goaltending, and you can only rely upon that so many times. So I think the first period, this is my get in, get out spot here. I think the Ducks get the job done in the first 20 minutes.
Andrew, get in, get out. That sounds pretty good as far as that goes. This isn't a client play at the moment, but I think it will become a client play at some point today, 2, maybe a 3% play. I really like the over in this game. The Ducks have not played well, and normally we say the best way to get back into the win column is to play a good defensive game, but I don't think they can do it. When you allow 5 goals to the Calgary Flames, who are pretty much a defunct franchise at the moment, I just don't get it. 5 losses in a row for this team. They're not playing well, but they have the benefit of catching a Nashville team on the second of a back-to-back, one that's that is in a road trip, and this is a good spot for them. You know what I mean? Like, they're on 87 points. They're still tied with the Edmonton Oilers, but for the lead in the Pacific. But the regulation wins, tiebreaker goes to Edmonton 30-24 at the moment. They can't afford to keep losing games, because they're going to lose that home ice in the first round against what it looks like right now, at the very least, the Vegas Golden Knights. And one step further would be if they continue to lose. Bad things are going to happen in Anaheim. I don't think that's going to happen. I love the fact that they get a backup goalie tonight in Anaheim, and a Nashville team that comes off of playing a very good defensive team to playing a team that's not very good defensively. 6.5 goals is definitely doable here. This is an over for me. I'm not going to be that guy, Andrew. And I love Prez, man. Prez is fantastic, but I am not going to say to you guys, I love this, because then tomorrow I'm going to get the comments when it finishes 1-0. I thought you said you loved it. But I do love this over, and I'm going to bet it, and I'm probably going to release it as a client play as well too. But it is not my $5 play. You'll have to find that one over at WagerTalk. So over for me. And with that said, Andrew, do you have some player props?
I have one today. So not
one.
plural.
One is good.
One
is good.
We've got just one for you guys here today. And I am looking forward to that game, though, Carm. It's going to be a good one. And we're going to find out what Anaheim has, because I'm not too confident that they're going to win the division anymore. That's for sure. All right, let's go to a goalie saves prop, as we had a couple comments saying, hey, where are the goalie save props? We've been talking about them for a while, and they've been doing pretty well. Jeremy Swayman has been one of the most reliable goaltenders when it comes to taking a look at his goalie save prop over. And there's a reason being why this number is 28.5. The Carolina Hurricanes, they lead almost every statistical category as far as offensive metrics are concerned. One thing about Carolina, I would say here, guys, is that they probably shoot too much. And someone might say to me, why do they shoot too much? How is that a bad thing? I think, Carm, they shoot when it's not always a good scoring chance. And so sometimes they might have 30 shots on goal, but they've only had a handful of actual dangerous opportunities. But that's how Brendan Moore wants them to play. He wants them shooting everything they can at the net. Jeremy Swayman has been the backbone of this team. There's a reason why he's, up there as far as a Vezina nominee. He's not going to win it, but he's up there, and he's a great goaltender. Over 28.5 saves for Jeremy Swayman. Bruins versus the Hurricanes. That's your play of the day as far as the props are concerned. And Carmine has a free play of the day for you guys coming up in just a few seconds.
Andrew, you missed 100% of the shots you do not take. All right. True. So that's why you take those
Michael
shots.
Scott,
and stuff.
Or is that Wayne Gretzky?
I don't know. It could be it could be my friends at the bar. That's why I'm always the designated driver. And I think we're going out tonight because they want to see me before I head out on vacay. But I love being the designated driver. I can have a cider or a beer at home if I want or what have you. But I like to make sure my friends are safe, and they all sort of live in the roundabout area and stuff like that. So I will, they Uber there and I drop them off at the end of the night. So everyone gets home safe. With that said, Andrew, I had to get rid of Uncle Fester because Nashville lost yesterday in a shootout. So Uncle Fester, the things, the hands, whatever, they're gone. I've gone to the Undertaker now, pretty much. I look like the Undertaker there. I am taking the over in the Dallas Stars Calgary Flames game, over 5.5 minus 120. A couple of reasons here. Dallas is off a shutout loss at home to Colorado. I always like when good teams get shut out at home to bounce back in the next game. But the Calgary Flames are allowing a lot of goals as well, too. Their last 8 games on the road, they are 6-2 to the over. This is one of those ones where I think it's a very good get-well spot for the Dallas Stars because Dallas looked in the rearview mirror, and you know who they saw? The Minnesota Wild, 2 points back. big game for Dallas Stars tonight, and I think they come out with a big result, and this game goes over the total. That is your pod play for today.
The play of the day. Carm looking good in that graphic, brother. Looking forward to a great day here. Look, guys, I'm disappointed with losing last night, but all good things come to an end, and we're back in action. One play at least, maybe one more. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But I have one play I had my eye on. I told Carmine on the phone yesterday that I had one already that I loved for Tuesday night. So $5, 12-1 run. I hate seeing that one there, but you know what? We're still on a great run, and we're trying to keep that run going into the postseason. And before we head out here, Carm, I'll throw it to you with this $199 rest of the regular season for free. It's a great deal. And I'll tell you one thing for sure is that there's some plays that we're going to release overnight. Some plays are going to be released a couple hours before game time. The best thing, and I will say this most confidently, the best thing about being an all-access subscriber is that you're going to get plays whenever they come out and whenever they are released. And, I've got some plays that I'm waiting for goaltender information. And I'll tell you what, it hurts us for sales because we can't put a play up until we figure out some information. Wait for a goalie. Wait for a player's health. Yesterday, I nearly had a heart attack when Celebrini wasn't doing the morning skate. I called up Carmine in panic. When you buy these packages, guys, you get all the plays the second that they get released. So that's it for me, Carm. Over to you.
Yeah, a couple of games today in Champions League soccer, quarterfinals. We're down to the last 8 teams in Champions League, and some of Europe's best clubs are involved. 4 of them today, and then another 4 tomorrow, 2 games each day. I have a 5% play in Champions League for tomorrow, but 2 plays up in today's action, and you can get them over at WagerTalk. And then, of course, my 5% play, not 5% play, my $5 play in the NHL. And as I did mention, I will be adding a couple small client plays to them. One is going to be the over in the Anaheim game. And, of course, the pod play, which I also like today, of course, will be a small client play as well, too. But the main one is the NHL best bet, and you get that for only $5 over at WagerTalk, or take advantage of that great deal. Brewski, I think he's in there, who's with me for the NHL season. Let's get it going, man. Let's have a strong finish to the NHL season and a strong NHL playoffs. I'm looking forward to it, guys. NHL, it is the best game there is. That's all I can say. For myself, Andrew McInnis, Don Buster, and Brian Letter, this is Puck Time. Hit that like button on your way out, and we will see you on Wednesday, 11 a.m.